My dear Dhamma sons and Dhamma daughters, every day of this Vipassana is an important day. Today it is especially important because it will be one day meditation course. And around the world, our students, our centers are all informed. Some may also have one-day course, but at least tonight when we have met under the sacred Bodh tree, everyone around the world, as far as possible, will be meditating with us and giving metta. The program has been very tight. This evening, this afternoon, there will be discourse in Hindi. Originally, I thought that I may give the discourse in both the languages, but now I find it will not be possible. So now a few words in English, so that you may not remain disappointed when you hear only a Hindi discourse. The main theme of the afternoon discourse will be that very unfortunately, not only the country of origin, India, but many other countries where people are devotees of Buddha, I feel that they have not understood Buddha. Unfortunately, Buddha is taken as a founder of a particular religion. Understand it is totally wrong. All Vipassana meditators understand. Buddha was never a founder of any religion. He never taught any religion. When you talk of religion, then all the rites and rituals and ceremonies and celebrations are involved. Philosophical beliefs, that belief, all those are involved. This is how a religion gets composed, where the priest has got a very important part to play. He becomes like a savior for the society. He is a middleman for the God Almighty and the society. This exploitation by the priests, not that all the priests are like that, but generally, this exploitation by the priest was totally prohibited by this unenlightened person. One should be very careful. If you start calling that he taught a religion, he founded a religion, then we are degrading his teachings. For me, he was a great scientist, super scientist of the spiritual field, super scientist who discovered the truth about the interaction of mind and matter, how the matter keeps on influencing the mind, and how in return the mind keeps on influencing the body. And people remain ignorant as to what is happening deep inside. They work with a very small part of the mind, which is said paritta chitta, very small part of the mind, where all sorts of thoughts are going on, emotions are going on, but at the deeper level, what is happening at the deeper level? People remain totally ignorant of that. Even in the name of religion, even in the name of philosophy, beliefs, dogmas, all those were limited to this smaller part of the mind, which the Western psychologists have started saying the conscious mind, which is a very small part of the mind. He never used this word conscious or half conscious or unconscious. The smaller part of the mind and the bigger part of the mind. A big barrier. What is happening deep inside? This smaller part of the mind, we can say the intellect, does not know at all. So even at the surface of the mind, people start understanding, well, look, this is good, this is bad. We must live the life which is a good life. We must abstain the life which is a bad life. They understand. There had been teachers in this country and in the world before Buddha and after Buddha. Nobody could go to the depth of the mind. What is happening at the root level? Even if the surface of the mind is purified, the intellect is purified, it is good. Nobody can deny that it is wrong. It is good. At least the intellect is purified. At the intellect level, one does not generate any mental thought which is unwholesome. Very good. Deep inside, there lies a behavior pattern. Constantly, this mad behavior pattern is constantly generating craving, aversion, which you call tanha, trishna, constantly, day and night. And this behavior pattern gets strengthened from day to day, from life to life. It becomes stronger and stronger. One is not liberated so long as one is working only on the surface of the mind. A great scientist, he discovered what is happening deep inside and how everyone can learn the technique and go to the depth of the mind and see what is happening. What's happening? How constantly craving is generated, aversion is generated, and of course ignorance is there. So raga, dvesha, and then the ignorance, the moha, continuous working under this tree. This is what he found out. A wonderful discovery. A wonderful discovery for the entire human world, which people didn't know before. All the teachers of this country, before Buddha, at the time of Buddha, and even after Buddha, everyone was teaching that don't get indulged. Don't get indulged in the sensual objects. You come across the shape, the form, and it comes in contact with the eyes. A sound comes in contact with the ear. A smell comes in contact with the nose. A taste comes in contact with the tongue. Something tangible comes in contact with the body. A thought comes into contact with the mind. And the teaching, which was very common, don't get indulged. That means don't start liking something. These outside objects, sensual objects, if you like, you start generating craving. That means bondage. You don't like it, you start generating aversion. Again bondage. This was the first great scientist of the world, a super scientist. And he says, no, you are not reacting to these outside objects. It appears to be so. This is an apparent truth. It appears that I am reacting to things outside. But actually, there is a missing link. And that link was found out by this great scientist. Any outside object comes in contact with the sense door. There is bound to be a sensation in the body. These 6 sense doors, It is not that because of six sense doors and the respective objects that you generate craving and aversion. No. When the outside objects come in contact with the sense door, there is a sensation in the body. That sensation can be pleasant, can be unpleasant, according to the valuation that you have given to this outside object. And when you feel that sensation, if the sensation is pleasant, then you start reacting, craving. If the sensation is unpleasant, then you start reacting, aversion. The source was missing. People never knew where the craving arises, where the aversion arises, and when you don't know the source, when you don't know the root of it, how can you eradicate your habit pattern of coming out of craving and aversion? A great discovery. When he said Salayatan Pachaya Phasya, these six sense doors, they come in contact with six objects, respective objects. There is a contact, Phasya. And then he said Phasya Pachaya Vedana. As soon as there is a contact, there is a sensation in the body. And then he says Vedana Pachaya Tanaha. Craving and aversion arises only after one has felt the sensations on the body. Of course, all this happens so quickly, so rapidly. Yet, one has to go to the depth of that reality. A wonderful discovery by a wonderful scientist. And by that, because he found out the real cause, when he said, the misery is all around, the birth is misery, old age is misery, sickness is misery, death is misery, getting disassociated with the dear ones is a misery, getting associated with the undear ones is a misery, things happening against one's wishes, things do not happen according to the wishes is a misery. Was that new for this country? This was already a developed country. There were so many religious leaders, spiritual leaders. He explains that true. But then he goes, Sankhetena Pancha Upadan Khanda Dukkha. When you go to the depth of it, then you will find that the craving, the attachment that one have towards the mind and the matter, the four aggregates of the mind, one aggregate to the matter, Pancha, Khanda, Upadan, they are the real cause of dukkha, and that you can experience only when you go to the depth of the mind. How constant reaction is going on, day and night, understand? Day and night, even when you are asleep, this process of reacting is going on. I keep on giving example. Somebody is in a deep sleep. Who is in a deep sleep? The so-called conscious mind is in deep sleep. The rest of the mind never sleeps. When you say it is unconscious, it is never unconscious. Every moment it is conscious. It is unconscious about the outside world, about the intellectual understanding, etc. Yes, unconscious. But it is conscious. Every moment, conscious towards the sensations on the body. The mind and matter are so very much connected. Every moment, there is a sensation on the body. The law of nature is such. Every moment, wherever there is mind and matter, and they come in contact, there is a sensation, pleasant, unpleasant. A sensation is there. And he found it out. Somebody in deep sleep, but at the deeper level, there is a sensation going on. And this part of the mind is constantly feeling that sensation and constantly reacting to the sensation. I give an example you might have heard so many times. In deep sleep, a mosquito has come and bitten. One is in deep sleep. And yet, this deeper part of the mind feels a sensation. Mosquito has bitten. Unpleasant sensation. So even though one is in deep sleep, one drives away the mosquito or even kills the mosquito. Still there is unpleasant sensation. One starts rubbing. Morning somebody questions him, how many times mosquito bit you? One doesn't know at all. Because the so-called conscious mind was asleep. But the deep unconscious mind or half-conscious mind never sleep. You are reacting to the sensations. Another example I keep on giving, like now I am talking, and if I am not a Vipassana meditator, I do not know what is happening inside. Then only this paritta chitta, the intellect will be working. I will be looking at the faces of the audience. Are they understanding what I am saying? Are they taking any interest in what I am saying? Or what I am talking goes above their head? Then I should not talk. People have started looking at their watches. They are getting bored. I better stop. Or they are understanding. So I better continue. All that is done at the conscious level of the mind. The deep unconscious has nothing to do with that. It is only interested in the sensations that one feels in the body. Sitting, say, for 15 minutes, half an hour, or 1 hour, with this heavy weight of the heavy body, some pressure gets built up somewhere. Pressure is there. The conscious mind is busy talking, giving lectures, intellectual talks. But this pressure, the so-called unconscious is not unconscious. It says, look, there is pressure. But a change, and one does little of this. Oh, but a change, one does little bit of this. Keeps on doing that without knowing. What is one doing? In one case, when we go to Rajgiri, we will find the king of Rajgiri. King is a great king with great kingdom. Some of the new monks were talking. Who is the happiest person in this world? And someone would say, so-and-so millionaire is a happy person. So-and-so multi-millionaire is a happy person. Someone said, no, the ruler of this country, Bimbasara, he is the happiest person. He has got so much money, so much power, so much prestige, so much status. He is the happiest person. Buddha heard all this and smiled. He is the most miserable person. Every evening he comes to listen discourse. Just observe. Just observe. Within that 1 hour, how many times he does like this, like this, like this. Poor chap does not know. So much of agitation going on inside. And he is suffering from that agitation. And one does not know what is happening. And look, my meditators, they sit for 1 hour, calmly, quietly, happily, harmoniously. Who is a happier person? Because one does not know what is happening inside, one keeps on fooling oneself. That I am a happy person. Look, I am the ruler of the country. I have got so much position, power, status, money, everything. But a very miserable person. How to take that misery out? Not that the sensations will stop. The sensations will be there. But when the ignorance goes away, you are aware. Look, a mosquito was bitten. You are aware, a mosquito was bitten. All right. You drive it out. Without blind reaction, you act. You react. You don't react, you act. There is some pressure. You change. You know, I have to change now. Look, I am changing now. You are aware. Even while you are changing, you are aware. That awareness is there all the time. So it is not reaction, it's the action. That makes a big difference. Whenever there is a reaction, there is an element of negativity. Negativity means element of misery. One starts feeling misery, miserable. A wonderful person who discovered this wonderful truth that look, Nama and Rupa, the mind and the matter, they always remain connected. And because of that, sensations keep on arising, which may be pleasant, which may be unpleasant, which may be neutral. Just understand, however unpleasant a sensation may be, it's not eternal. It arises, seems to stay for some time, but sooner or later passes away. A Vipassana meditator understands that very well. And even though it is a solidified, intensified, gross, unpleasant sensation, a time comes when a good meditator reaches the stage that in spite of this solidity, there is an undercurrent of vibration which is throughout the body. And this undercurrent of vibration proves that every moment change is taking place, arising, passing. These wavelets, they are there. It is not an intellectual game. He was not at all interested in satisfying the people at the intellectual level or making people understand and accept the reality at the emotional level or devotional level, at the actual level. And he used the words Yatha Bhut Jnana Darshanam. Yatha Bhut, as it happens. Jnana Darshanam. One experiences it. The word darshana, the word seeing, observing, had different meaning in those days. Now this meaning is lost to the country, lost to the world. By feeling, by experiencing it, experiencing the truth which has manifested itself, then the wisdom that arises is the real wisdom. Jnana darshana. The jnana must be, the wisdom must be with your experience. Now the word darshana, like in Hindi also we say, dekho. In English also we say, you see. Yes, see this with open eyes, you see the shape, the form, the color, the light, you see. But it is not only that. In Hindi also we say, this music is very melodious. You see how melodious. What's it? Now one will see the shape or the form of the melodious song. What's it? That experience. You experience and you find out how melodious. In English also you say the same thing. You see how melodious this song is. How melodious. What's it? What do you see? You see the shape, the form, the color, the light. That means experience it. Taste it yourself. This is what was meant in this country in those days. The word darshana got spoiled, totally spoiled in this country. One, by giving a meaning that you see by the open eyes. Another, worse than that, is a philosophy. This darshana, that darshana, this philosophy, that philosophy. Where the teachings of the seers and saints and realized and enlightened person went away. Words lost their meaning, totally meaning. He was interested in this samma ditthi, samyak darshan. You have to experience the truth as it is. And then the wisdom that arises is your wisdom at the experiential level. Not that something you have heard or something you have read, and then you say, I am a wise person, now I know. What you know? You have not experienced it. He wanted people to experience the truth. A great contribution of this country, a great contribution of this great enlightened person, a super scientist of this country. Everything that he talks like a scientist. If this is there, then this result is bound to come. If this is not there, this result won't come. Imasming sati idang hoti. Imasming asati idang na hoti. Hydrogen and oxygen joined together. Moisture is there. If they don't get joined together, no moisture. In those planets where there is no hydrogen or no oxygen, there is no moisture at all. Law of nature. If there is this ignorance, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening within yourself. And because of this ignorance, you start generating craving or aversion. Misery is bound to be there. Law of nature. If you have got proper understanding at the experiential level, you are out of misery. Law of nature. He kept on saying, whether there is a Buddha or no Buddha, understand, people forgot to give importance to his real words, which made him a great scientist. Buddha or no Buddha, the law of nature is there. It will always remain. It was there. It is there. It will remain. What Buddha? Buddha is a great scientist who discovers this law. If this happens, this is bound to be the result. If this does not happen, this result won't come. A scientist. The law of gravity is there. Newton discovered it. He said this is law of gravity. We took advantage of it. Even if Newton was not there, the law of gravity was there. It will continue to be there. Law of relativity. It was there. It is here. It will remain. Einstein found it. And we made use of it. Exactly in the same way. Einstein or no Einstein, the law of relativity is there. Newton or no Newton, the law of gravity is there. Galileo or no Galileo, the world is round and rotating. It is there. Somebody discovers it. Here is a scientist who says Buddha or no Buddha. Dhamma niyamta is there. The law of nature is there. And it keeps on working in its own way. What Buddha does, as a scientist, he discovers, oh, this is how people become miserable. And look, this is how they can come out of misery. A great discovery. He explains people. They understand it. They make use of it and start coming out of the misery. Out of ignorance. They forget all his discoveries, scientific discoveries, and make his teaching as a religion, as a sect. And not only one religion, not only one sect, so many sects. This yana and that yana and so many sects. And here is a person who is totally against these sects, totally against all these sectarian organizations, the organized religion. He is totally against it. In those days, a sect was called Tirtha. He never founded any Tirtha. Others founded Tirthas. He never founded Tirtha. He only teaches Dhamma. I don't know when it started, but whenever it started, whenever Buddha's teaching was named as Buddhism, whenever Buddha's followers were named as Buddhist, to me, that was a dark day for the teaching of Buddha. The degradation of Buddha's teaching started. What Buddhism? If Buddha taught Buddhism, then it will be only for the Buddhist, not for others. What Buddhism? He taught Dhamma. Buddhism is for Buddhists, like Hinduism for Hindus, Jainism for Jains, Islam for Muslims, Christianity for Christians. It's understandable. He is teaching Dhamma, which is universal. Law of nature is universal. How can you limit it to a particular sect, a particular community? How is it possible? He explains so clearly. Whenever any impurity arises in the mind, anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, ego, any impurity, one starts suffering. The misery is there. Simultaneously, as the impurity arises, along with that the misery arises. Because one does not observe the reality inside, one does not know why I am miserable, one keeps on finding fault outside. I am miserable because so-and-so said like this. I am miserable because so-and-so did like this. So the cause of my misery lies outside. The whole life, I keep on using all my energy to rectify things outside, rectify people outside, because I never understand. The entire 100% cause of my misery lies inside. In the same way, 100% cause of my peace and harmony lies inside. I am responsible. The moment one starts observing the truth inside, whatever happened outside, because I started generating some defilement in the mind, I became miserable. If I had not generated defilement, I was a happy person. I don't care. This is the problem of the person. Somebody is insulting me. This is the problem of this person, not my problem. Why is he insulting? Because he's full of anger, full of hatred. And when he generates anger and hatred, a miserable person, a sick person, his problem. What best I can do is help him to come out of that misery. He's burning already. And I throw more petrol on him so that it burns more. Oh no, he needs some cold water so that the fire gets extinguished. But if I don't understand, look, this fellow is insulting me. I start insulting in response. I also become a miserable person. He is a miserable person. I am a miserable person. You are insulting me to make me miserable. All right, I will remain miserable. Hundreds of times I'll become miserable. I'll keep on thinking, oh, he insulted me like this, he insulted me like this, he insulted me. What am I doing? Without understanding. This was the enlightenment of this person. You're harming yourself. What you're doing? Every moment you keep on generating some impurity or the other, and every moment you make yourself miserable, miserable. What sort of life you're living? Mere intellectual understanding will not help. When people start realizing, look, I become miserable. And look, what's the reason? The reason is I generated some defilement. I am miserable because I generated some defilement. And the more and more one realizes this truth, more and more one starts changing the habit pattern of the mind at the deepest level, to the root level. This is how one comes out of misery. Otherwise not. You can divert your attention. When you are miserable, start thinking of something else, have some prayers, have some chanting, have something which will divert your attention deep inside, the deeper part of the mind. Still keeps on reacting, keeps on reacting. How you come out of misery? Escape is no solution. He says escape is no solution. You have to face the reality. And the reality is that you are miserable not because of outside happenings. You are miserable because you started generating impurity within yourself. You are responsible for your misery. Wonderful discovery, which nobody knew. Before Buddha, nobody talked even in this language. And unfortunately, in this country and in the world, people stopped talking like that because they missed the real teaching of Buddha. There were teachers in this country before Buddha, at the time of Buddha, after Buddha, who gave these sermons, wonderful sermons, live a moral life. That means don't act any unwholesome action. Don't perform any unwholesome action. What is unwholesome action? At the physical or vocal level, don't do anything which will disturb the peace and harmony of others. This is morality. This is Shila. Wonderful. That teaching was there. This was not something new that was given by Buddha. Don't harm anybody. Don't hurt anybody. Live a moral life. And moral life means don't kill, don't steal, don't have sexual misconduct, don't speak harsh words, don't lie, false words, don't speak false words. These are the moralities. The teaching was there. But here is a scientist who says whenever you perform any vocal or physical action which harms others, before harming others, you have started harming yourself. You can't harm anybody unless you have first harmed yourself. These words, they started ringing in my ears when I first went to Vipassana. I came from a very staunch conservative Hindu family. I am not sorry for that. I am very glad that I got the training, at least spiritual training was there, which brought me towards the path. Good. In Dhamma, never condemn anybody. Take whatever is good from them. So this teaching was there. Live a moral life, Shila, Sadachara. But when Buddha says, Pubbe hanati attanang, pacha hanati sopare. First you harm yourself. First you kill yourself. First you kill the peace and harmony of yourself. Then only you kill others. You kill the peace and harmony of others. This is not just Buddha says so, one has to accept it. In Buddha's teaching, no blind faith, no blind belief. Not that the scripture says so, not because Buddha says so, we must accept it. Otherwise we will go to hell. And when we accept it, we will go to heaven. That madness is totally away from Buddha's teaching. Yatha bhuta jnana darshanam. See, when you kill somebody, why we say don't kill? When you kill somebody, how can you kill somebody? Unless you generate tremendous amount of anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, then only you kill somebody. And as soon as you generate anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, you are the first victim. You become miserable. miserable. You start harming yourself. Then only you harm others. You steal something which does not belong to you, somebody else's. Before you steal, you have to generate tremendous amount of greed, craving. And if you notice inside, you will notice, as soon as I generate greed, I lose the balance of my mind. I lose the peace of my mind. I started harming myself. Commit sexual misconduct, rape, or things like that. Well, you generate tremendous amount of lust, passion, and if you see inside, you lost the balance of your mind. You are a miserable person. You try to deceive others by speaking lies or speak some harsh words. Just say inside, you lost the balance of your mind. You are a miserable person. Buddha does not give mere sermons. He teaches people, experience the truth, experience the law, which is applicable on everybody. What Buddhism about it? On everybody. And realizing it, come out of your mad habits. Come out of your unwholesome actions. Because by every unwholesome action, you first harm yourself and then only you harm others. A wonderful discovery for the human society. Unfortunately, it got lost. When there are mere rites and rituals and ceremonies and beliefs and dogmas and cult, the teaching of Buddha goes away somewhere. Or if it is only recitation, keep on reciting, without understanding what we are reciting. And even if you understand what we are reciting at the intellectual level, without experiencing what the truth is, what benefit we get from Buddha's teaching? Buddha's teaching remains Buddha's teaching only when people start experiencing the truth within themselves, yatha bhuta, as it is. Then the habit pattern starts changing. And then you are coming out of not only your impurities, you are coming out along with that with your misery. You are getting liberated from the misery. This is what he realized under this tree. This is what he realized. And this is what he taught. Large number of people in this country, and mostly understand, intellectuals of this country. The Brahmins are the most intellectual, even those days, later on also, because from the childhood they get education. Intellectuals, good, but intellectuals, the wisdom inside was missing. They started coming to him. The first 5 disciples were all Brahmins, educated Brahmins. And then later on also so many Brahmins, all educated Brahmins came to him. Intellectuals, they started understanding. He's talking sense. His talk is not nonsense, it is sense, it makes sense. It gives result here and now. He was not interested in the result that you get after the life. Yes, after the life also you get good result. He never denied it. What you get now? You don't get anything now. And you expect something to happen after death. That is not Buddha's teaching. Akaliko. You must get the benefit here and now. If you don't get benefit here and now, and you keep on expecting that after death I will get this heaven or that heaven, you are a mad person, ignorant person. You will never get anything. If you start getting here and now the benefit of Dhamma, the benefit of your practicing Dhamma, you are coming out of your misery, you are coming out of your impurities, you are getting benefit here and now. Certainly after death also you will get good benefit. So clearly he explains. Ida tappati, pecha tappati, papakari ubhayattha tappati. One who performs unwholesome actions, sinful actions, suffers here and suffers later on also, after death also. One starts realizing, look, I am suffering. I am suffering because of these wrong actions. One starts changing the behavior pattern. Then idhanandate, pechanandate, katapunyo, ubhayathanandate. He starts performing wholesome actions. Now no more unwholesome action. He has realized nobody wants to harm oneself. Out of ignorance one keeps on harming oneself. Now one realizes, not only I am helping others, I am not obliging the society by living a moral life. Well, apparently it is true. I am living a moral life, so I am not harming others. But the real point is, the real truth is that I am not harming myself. To save myself from all the agony, I am living a good life. And once you start living a good life, that means you generated love, compassion, goodwill, instead of aversion, hatred, ill will. And the law of nature is such. The moment you start generating love, compassion, goodwill, the nature starts rewarding you. When you generate aversion, hatred, ill will, negativity, the nature starts punishing you then and there, akaliko, not after death. After death also you will get. Because the same behavior pattern goes after death also. You will be suffering, suffering, suffering for so many lives in future because you made this kind of behavior pattern. Similarly, when you change your behavior pattern, you generate love, compassion, you get reward here and now. You generate metta, karuna, love, compassion. And if you are a good vipassana meditator, you see so much of peace, so much of harmony. I generate goodwill for others. I want people to be happy. But look, I am becoming happy. I am becoming peaceful. I am becoming harmonious. The nature is such, the law of nature is such. Before you harm others, you get harmed yourself. Before you help others, you get helped yourself. This law was invented, was found out. Law was found out by this enlightened person. Why call him the great super scientist of the spiritual world? If you miss his teaching, we are responsible. He is not responsible. He explained it so clearly, every word. If people go through that, if you practice vipassana, and you go through the words of Buddha, every word becomes so clear. Oh, this is what he meant. This is what he meant. And people have been interpreting in different ways. This is actually what he meant. It becomes so clear, so clear. The first gatha of Dhammapad, Mano Puvangama Dhamma, Mano Settha Manomaya, Manasa che paduttena bhasati va karoti va tato nang dukkhaman veti chakkang vehtopadam. It's not just a statement. It's a law of nature which is explaining. The mind matters most. Everything first arises in the mind. And then only a physical action is taken or a vocal action is taken. Everything is the product of the mind. And with the mind, which is unwholesome, any action, physical or vocal that you take, with an unwholesome mind, misery has started. And this misery keeps on following you, like the wheel of the cart keeps on following the bullock, which is yoked to that cart. Because the wheel is yoked to that cart, to that bullock, wherever it goes, the wheel is there. Year after year, life after life, misery is there. Why? Somebody should have questioned him. Why? But it was so clear. Why you generate impurity in the mind? One thing, you are ignorant, you don't know what you are doing. Another thing, you are reacted to something. Something unpleasant, an unpleasant sensation is in the body, and you reacted with aversion. Now you are making this behavior pattern of reaction, of aversion, throughout the life. You will be having situations. Throughout the life, you will be experiencing unpleasant sensation, and throughout the life, you will be building up this behavior pattern, the mad behavior pattern, aversion. That means you are building up your misery, which keeps you miserable the whole life. And not only that, the next life, the same behavior pattern follows. And again you keep on doing the same thing, aversion. That is why he says, the misery will follow you. Wherever you go, the misery will follow you. And similarly, when he says, Manasa che pasannena bhasati va karoti va tato nang sukhaman veti chaya ve anupayani. When with a pure mind, wholesome mind, you perform any action, physical or vocal, what happens? You feel happiness. And this happiness continues throughout the life, and not only throughout the life, but later on also. Like your shadow accompanies you. Wherever you go, your shadow is there. Wherever you go, your shadow is there. Wonderful teaching of Vipassana. When you go deep inside, you find that when the mind is pure, then every action that you do at the physical or vocal level makes you feel so happy, so harmonious, so peaceful. And that behavior pattern is becoming stronger. More and more you generate this wholesome mind, the wholesome actions of the mind, you are becoming happier and happier and happier. This happiness follows you like your shadow. This life, next life, all the life that are there, you are a happy person. This is not something just to be recited. Keeps on reciting the words of Buddha and you will get liberated. Such madness should not be there with the Vipassana meditators. Every word of Buddha has got meaning, and that meaning must be realized at the experiential level. Then only you are real followers of Buddha. I say it is very easy to become devoted to Buddha. Devotion of Buddha, very easy. Like you have devotion towards Christ, you have devotion towards Prophet Muhammad, devotion towards Rama or Krishna, wonderful. A devotion gives its own benefit. But you are not a follower of Buddha. There are two different things. A devotee of Buddha and a follower of Buddha. A follower of the Buddha has to practice the truth within oneself and keep on changing the behavior pattern. Then you are a real follower of Buddha. A great scientist who gave us the path, not to accept it at the blind faith level, at the experiential level, and you start getting benefit of it. You start getting liberated. When we come to a wonderful place like this, the vibrations are still there. Was such an enlightened person. He meditated and he got this wonderful truth, realized this wonderful truth. The atmosphere of the entire atmosphere, the vibration of the entire atmosphere gets purified. We are now meditating only for 1 hour or so every evening. There was time when I started teaching Vipassana. Number of courses were given in this place, in the Samanvaya Ashram or in Burmese Vihara. And people knew what benefit they got. Coming to a course, even 5 or 10 courses, they won't get that much benefit as they get benefit in one course in this place. And that is one reason why we want a good meditation center to come up here, because of the vibration, not a blind faith. When you meditate, you start feeling. As you start meditating, the entire body gets vibrating. Anicca, anicca, anicca. Your progress becomes so rapid. You reach the goal so rapidly. That is why this pilgrimage, not a rite, not a ritual, not a ceremony. Don't take it that way. That you are going to all the 4 places that Buddha said, and as soon as you visit them, you are liberated. No more life, no more death. Meaningless. That madness should never come to a Vipassana meditator. Let that remain with people who are happy with that. Let them remain with them. No Vipassana meditator should have such blind belief. You get benefit by going to these places when you really meditate. And you get the wonderful vibration. You get the vibration of metta, karuna, love, compassion of that enlightened person, which are still there in the vibration, in the atmosphere. You get benefit. And you remember, oh, this is what he taught. And this is what I am practicing. This is the benefit you are going to get. Wonderful benefit. And then, one important thing, now especially this this earthquake in one part of India, large number of people suffered. So many have died. Those who have not died also are suffering. Big catastrophe, naturally suffering. We share our merits with them. We share our peace and harmony with them. Our goodwill is for them. There is another reason why this pilgrimage is beneficial to us and also will be beneficial to others. All those who are suffering. Now we've got 3 centers there in that area. In Bada, in Ahmedabad, in Kota, in Rajkot. There we have got facilities only 100, 150. Now, because so many people are suffering there, if possible, and it will be possible with the help of so many students, we will start courses for 1,000 persons. We don't have that many facilities there. There will be tents where people will live. There will be such shamiyanas, pandals, where people will meditate. There will be the kitchen and the dining hall, all in such tents. Doesn't matter. People will get the real teaching of Buddha. Not that we are interested in making people Buddhist, nothing doing. We are going to make people happy, peaceful, harmonious. Buddha never made anybody Buddhist Who are we to make Buddhist? All his teaching, he used the word Dhamma. And everyone who followed him, he called Dhammiko, that means Dharmic, Dhammatto, Dharmist, Dhammachari, Dhammavihari. These are the words. We don't find the word Bodha, that means Buddhist or Buddhism. We don't find an entire teaching. Up to 500 years in this country, nobody used this word Bodha. I don't know how it started. Who started it? Maybe somebody started only out of ignorance. Or maybe somebody started just to give a wrong impression about Buddha's teaching. I don't know. We don't blame anybody. But I say that if Buddha's teaching remained as Dhamma, it would have been much better for the people who followed. So at least now, for those who are students of Vipassana and those who understand the teaching according to their own experience, don't think that you are getting converted to Buddhism. You are getting converted to Dhamma. You are getting converted to the law of nature. You are getting converted to morality, to live a good life, peaceful life, harmonious life, good for you and good for others. Always keep that in mind. Don't make it a sect, otherwise you are losing the real teaching of Buddha. Come out of that thought, sectarian thought, universal. Buddha's teaching is non-sectarian, universal. When impurity arises in the mind, the nature does not say that well, this person calls himself a Hindu or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Christian. This person has to suffer. Whether this person is a Brahmin or a Shudra, one has to suffer. Black or white, one has to suffer. Law of nature is law of nature. One is out of these impurities. One has got only wholesome mind. One is bound to get peace and harmony. The nature will not see whether this person calls himself a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Christian or a Brahmin or so. Nothing doing. The law of nature is universal. It is for all. And Buddha taught the law of nature, the Dhamma. Keep that in mind. Whenever you are progressing on the path of the teaching of Buddha, never make it a sect. Don't allow it to become a sect. He was not sectarian. He was not interested in any sect. He was teaching universal Dhamma. Let his teaching be stronger and stronger. Good for you and good for others. Beneficial for you and beneficial for others. May the entire humanity, entire world understand the real teaching of Buddha and follow it for their own good, for their own benefit and for the good and benefit of others. May all live a peaceful life, a harmonious life, a Dhammic life. Bhavat Sarva Mangalam. Bhavat Sarva Mangalam. Bhavat Sarva Mangalam. Bhala ho, bhala ho.